Welcome to the live stream. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about today, and a few people noticing in the pre-stream chat that the title of the stream has changed not once, but maybe twice since the afternoon when I set up this stream, and there is a lot to talk about. I am indeed going to be talking about what is now undeniable, confirmed in writing, Trump-Russia collusion. If you haven't been following it, I will catch you up and tell you everything that's going on. I will also be taking questions and comments, a little bit about that in a second. And lastly, and firstly, in a sense, I am going to be telling you about I've spent the last 48 to 72 hours exploring a disturbing trend I've seen on YouTube affecting progressive YouTubers. And at this point, the sort of impact of what's going on to progressive YouTubers is undeniable. And I'm going to be talking about that as well. If this is your first live stream, by all means, welcome. We're really live. I'm really talking to you live right now, assuming it's 8:31 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, July 12th of 2017. If it is any other time, then at this point, it is safe to say I am not actually live. Number two, love getting questions and comments from viewers during the stream. The best way to submit those questions or comments is through the super chat function, which is the $ at the bottom of the chat window. Super chat questions and comments will be read. Number three, new members and new patrons who pledge during the stream will get live shout outs and thank yous. You can read more about membership at davidpakman.com/membership. The coupon code IVoted17 does work. And you can learn about Patreon at patreon.com/davidpakmanshow, where you can make pledges as small as $1 per month. Lastly, obvious trolling and hate will get you banned. Subtle trolling probably won't if it's subtle enough. We do have moderators hanging out in the chat room and monitoring it, and they have been fully deputized to ban people as they see fit. So what is going on? Let's start with part one of the title for today's stream, Progressive YouTubers Under Attack. I'm going to explain to you what's going on. And when I say under attack, I don't mean in some kind of conspiratorial, insidious way where individual people are attacking and hurting progressive YouTubers either in the physical or in the real world. What I'm talking about is something that I have figured out that is going on since July 1st, roughly since July 1st. I've spent the last 48 to 72 hours checking in with a number of progressive YouTubers, and here's the bottom line. If you're not aware of the sort of pre-existing YouTube advertiser boycott, the YouTube advertiser boycott started on March 31st, and March 31st is represented by the number 2 here in this image that I'm showing you. So first several months of the year, things were going really well on YouTube. And as there started to gain momentum for this supposed controversy about YouTube ads showing up on racist and offensive videos, we saw a sort of tightening up of the YouTube ad algorithm, which you can see by the subsequently lower peaks between the numbers 1 and 2 in this image. And then at the number 2, which was March 31st, a Wall Street Journal article had come out just a few days prior. And that article alleged, it had a screenshot of a Coca-Cola ad on an obviously racist YouTube video on a very small channel, a channel with 800 or 1,000 subscribers. This caused YouTube advertisers to lose their shit and threaten to boycott YouTube as a platform. And in response to that, YouTube turned on a far stricter YouTube advertiser algorithm. And at the number 2, the David Pakman Show YouTube channel was making effectively nothing, okay? We lost 99% of our revenue. I reached out to YouTube, eventually got a hold of some very nice people at YouTube who said this is temporary, the system is learning, and you should expect YouTube ad revenue to recover and get back to normal. Now, what we saw between numbers 2 and 3, which is from March 31st up to about, I don't know, mid-June, for example. No, I'm sorry, mid-May, is that we did see YouTube ad revenue recover to about 30 to 35% of what it originally was. And I genuinely thought at this point, I really believed it's going to recover. It probably won't be 100%, but if we can get half of our revenue back and make up the other half from the audience, we're going to be fine. And unfortunately, I reported to you that in the last couple days of June, but really since July 1st, there has been an almost total return to the crisis levels. And we haven't lost all of our revenue, but we've lost about 15%. That's where we are right now. So a couple things, this is what we already knew. A couple things I want to address. One, when I talk about this, people email me, they say, David, everything's fine. I saw some ads on your channel. There's two issues that are going on. We used to get a 60 to 70% ad rate on our channel, meaning for every 10 views, 6 or 7 ads were shown. That rate is now 30%, meaning we are getting fewer than half the ads we used to get. But here's the real problem, and this is the part that I've been talking to progressive YouTubers about. We are getting shitty ads. I mean, there's really no other way to say it. We are getting low quality ads. If you go on, now I don't want to throw anybody under the bus in particular, but if you go on some particular more establishment YouTube channels, you will see what I would describe as high quality ads. This includes companies like Constant Contact. This includes premier premium car manufacturers, etc. By and large, I was noticing as of July 1st, our ad rate is down to 30%, and we're getting, no offense to any companies, lower quality ads, what are called auction ads in the YouTube system. And I said, that's kind of weird. I'm going to reach out to some other progressive YouTubers and see what's going on and see if there's a trend here. And I'm not going to name any names. I don't know who wants to be on record with this stuff, but what I can tell you is that a lot of these people shared their revenue data with me, which, by the way, is a violation of YouTube terms and conditions, so I'm particularly not going to tell you who I spoke to. But everybody who I spoke to is seeing the exact same trend that I am. They are getting anywhere from 25 to 35% fill rate on their videos, and they are getting low quality ads. Almost none of what we would call high quality ads. These are called reserve ads in the YouTube system. I believe our channel over the last 2 weeks has a 1% reserve ad rate. We used to have about a 50% reserve ad rate, meaning we went from half of our ads being the best paying, highest quality ads to 1% of our ads. And the proof is in the pudding. The revenue has effectively disappeared. Now, do I believe that somebody at YouTube is specifically saying, let's flip some switch on liberal YouTube channels to hurt them? No, I don't think that that's what's going on. What I believe is going on is that there has been a concerted effort from YouTube to be as brand friendly as possible. And unfortunately, this has led to an algorithm that has disproportionately impacted news and politics channels. I don't know that many conservative YouTubers, so I couldn't tell you whether they are being impacted in the exact same way. The two conservative YouTubers I spoke to over the last 24 hours say things are down a little bit, which often happens at the beginning of a new quarter. We've just started the third quarter of 2017, July 1st, but they're not seeing the cliff dive that I and many other progressive YouTubers are seeing. Now, does it matter if there's a political bias here? No, it makes no difference. And again, I'm not alleging that there is a political a deliberate political bias in terms of what's going on. I want to be super clear. But the impact of it is the same. In other words, if progressive YouTubers are getting screwed right now because someone at YouTube doesn't like progressive channels, or because of the algorithm that's been set up as a sort of side effect, it doesn't really matter. Progressive YouTubers are getting screwed. And I'm talking to a lot of our colleagues who are saying, you know, if we had lost half our revenue, we could probably make that up in 6 months with a number of pledge campaigns. If we had lost 2/3 of our revenue, as I believe that we had, maybe by the end of the year, we could make that up. But if we've lost, as I am now seeing, 85 to 90% of our revenue, this presents a whole new set of challenges. And I am going to be staying in contact with everybody that I have to contact at YouTube. These are all good people who I believe want to help. I believe that this may be above their pay grade. And this relates directly to net neutrality. on the program today was the net neutrality day of action, something I am hugely supportive of. I've been talking about, I know a lot of people say, David, you got to move on from Trump-Russia. We can walk and chew gum at the same time, right? We can talk about the imploding Trump-Russia situation, which I'll get to, by the way, folks. Believe me, I'm going to get to that. And talk about issues. And just this week, we've talked about healthcare. We've talked about Republicans lowering the minimum wage in 3 or 4 states across the country. And we have talked extensively about net neutrality because there is a 3-pronged attack right now on programs like mine. It is a 3-pronged attack. Number 1 is Donny Boy, Donald Orange Trump in the White House, who wants to open up libel lawsuits to make it easier to sue media outlets, who wants to go beyond just being able to charge leakers and whistleblowers, but he wants to look at charging the media outlets that publish information that was given to them by leakers and whistleblowers. That is the crossing of a very important line in the media world. That is number 1. Prong 2 of the Hydra, that is the attack on independent media, is the net neutrality attack. We've got former Verizon lawyer Ajit Pai running the FCC. You've got Trump without even knowing what net neutrality is. He once said net neutrality is the fairness doctrine, out of his mind. Without even knowing what it is, he's put in a team, he's put in an FCC chairman who now is working with his team to undo net neutrality. We need to be regulating internet service providers under Title II of the Telecommunications Act as common carriers, the way we would a phone company. The internet is now effectively like the phone. It is a utility. That is the second prong of the 3-pronged attack on independent progressive media. And the third prong is the YouTube advertiser boycott, which again, as of July 1st, has led to what you see by the number 4 here, a complete and utter implosion of ad revenue. This is pretty serious shit that we're up against right now. If it were just the YouTube ad boycott to the tune of 50% revenue loss, okay, we could deal with that. If Trump wants to start prosecuting publishers of leaked information, we could just focus on that. If it was only net neutrality that was attempted to be rolled back, we could activate around that the way we've seen people successfully activate against SOPA, PIPA, etc. But we're dealing with a 3-pronged approach here. And as a result, what we're doing is we're going to you, right? I mean, at this point, we have no other place to go. We have membership, we have Patreon, and we have Amazon, okay? You can sign up for a membership at davidpakman.com/membership. If you care about benefits, it has great benefits. We do an extra show every day just for our members called The Bonus Show. We have a commercial-free audio and video stream just for our members. And you can sign up at davidpakman.com/membership. A few of you already have while I've been talking, and thank yous and shout outs will be forthcoming. If the normal prices are too high, which start at $6 a month or $60 for the year, we've got a coupon code, which I'll tell you about in a second. Number 2, Patreon. Patreon is, you don't want to get involved with all this membership stuff. You don't have time to watch even more content. You just want to support the work we're doing in the context of this 3-pronged attack on what we are doing. You can throw in as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/davidpakmanshow, and I'll update you in a second as to how that is going. And lastly, if you ever shop on Amazon.com, by going to davidpakman.com/Amazon before you shop, you will be sending us a kickback to the tune of 5 to 7% of your purchase, okay? So let's do some thank yous. First of all is membership. Membership is at davidpakman.com/membership. You pick your membership monthly or yearly. You hit the red sign up button, and on the second page of the sign up process, you'll see the coupon code field. If you want a 40% discount off of membership. You get 100% of the benefits, but you only pay 60% of the price. You can use the coupon code IVoted17. And on that note, Pedro Zayas has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership while we've been chatting, and Rachel Noggle has signed up on our website. Thank you to both Rachel and Pedro, and I will have more thank yous forthcoming. As far as Patreon goes, it could not be simpler. You go to patreon.com/davidpakmanshow. You hit the red Become a Patron button, and that's it. You can pledge $1 a month. You can pledge $100 a month. You can pledge $1,000 a month. We don't currently have anyone pledging $1,000 a month, but you could. We have surpassed the 1,700 patron mark, and as I've said before, when we get to the 2,000 patron mark, I've committed to doing an entire program out of our studio with my hair like this, which it's scary, particularly to kids, but the audience seemed to like the idea when I mentioned it. So if and when we get to 2,000 patrons, I believe it's more a matter of when, not if, we will do an entire show in studio. My hair will be that way. All right. So that's what's going on with the YouTube situation, and I will keep you posted on it and more information forthcoming. I want to talk about Trump Russia. Before we do that, let me dig into Super Chat. Super Chat is available with the dollar symbol at the bottom of the chat window. First from Jacob Ball, who sent a $2 Super Chat saying nothing other than keep up the good work, Dave. Romstein Rules 16 sent a $10 Canadian Super Chat saying, we need more presenters like you, David. Well, if things don't turn around, we're going to end up with fewer presenters like me, sadly. But thank you. I appreciate the support. Cezi Canales sent a $20 Super Chat. Thanks for all your hard work, and Peach be with you. Thank you, Peaches, for everybody. I appreciate the sentiment. I've never seen on a Super Chat goodwill with fruit, but I love peaches, and Peach be with you, Cezi. Macarius39 sent a $2 Canadian Super Chat. Keep up the great work, David. Cheers from Canada. Thank you. We love Canada. I was just in Montreal. When was it? Memorial Day weekend. So I guess it's been like 6 weeks. Feels like it was yesterday. But beautiful. Love Montreal. Julian Carrion sent a $5 Super Chat. Have you decided to sell the David Pakman coffee mugs? Okay, here's the deal with the coffee mugs. We sell David Pakman Show coffee at davidpakman.com/gear. I've tried making Cobfeffi from it, and it was okay. As I mentioned on the show, it ended up being kind of bitter. But for espresso or French press or Chemex, it works fine. So the obvious thing is, well, if you sell the coffee, you sell the coffee mugs. But the problem I'm having is I'm trying to source the coffee mugs ethically from like an American company. And if I do that, I can't get our cost below $15. And if our cost is $15, in order for it to be worth it, we've got to be making a little something on it, particularly when you consider the time spent ordering the mugs and shipping them out and whatever. I can't really sell a $20 coffee mug, I don't think. In other words, I think a $20 coffee mug, even if people understand that, hey, it's American made and whatever, I think a $20 coffee mug is a bit much. And I think it was $15, maybe even plus shipping with our cost. And that's just a tough, I've not made the numbers work so far, Julian, but I am interested in doing the coffee mug thing. Sandernista sent a $5 Australian Super Chat. Will you be debating Kyle Kuklinski on the topic of Trump-Russia? He seems to have followed H.A. Goodman and gone off the deep end. I think I know who H.A. Goodman is. I think at one point he's the guy I called out for something on RT, and then he did like 20 videos about me. Don't take that literally. It might have been like 7, but he did a lot of videos about me, and I just had to start ignoring the entire thing because it was wacky. I don't know that there's anything to debate Kyle about, because at this point, I mean, it's a question of how much collusion there was, not if there was some. The Donald Trump Jr. emails confirm that, yeah, there was total collusion, intent to collude. There was absolutely no surprise whatsoever for Donald Trump Jr. when he was told that this meeting with the Russian lawyer is part of the plan for part of the support that Russia is giving to your father. He didn't even react to it. He said, great, I'll pass her name over to security. So there's very little to debate at this point. No Good has sent a $5 Canadian Super Chat. Will you be getting into LA to go on Dave Rubin's show soon? I'm right-wing, but glad to support the show anyway. I was just talking with Dave Rubin a couple weeks ago. For a moment, it looked like I might have been getting to Los Angeles at the end of July, and we were talking about doing something in a studio. And unfortunately, it's not going to happen. And we've got, it's just not looking good, because my first weekend in August, I've got a bunch of stuff going on, and then the second and third weekends in August are going to be David Pakman Show Summer Vacation. And then that fourth weekend in August, I will just be back. And then we're already in September and Labor Day weekend. So I think I want to get to LA and I want to go on Dave Rubin's show, but I think it's going to have to be the fall. And by the way, I really am interested on that trip of getting on with Joe Rogan. And I don't know how to do it because everybody who I know knows Joe Rogan says, listen, I can't really help you because everybody wants to be put on Joe Rogan's show. And my understanding is Joe Rogan doesn't really like public campaigns telling him to interview someone. If you go on the Joe Rogan podcast website, there's no contact method listed. So if anybody can help get me on the Joe Rogan program, that would be a very solid visit out to Los Angeles. I could do the Dave Rubin show, I could do Joe Rogan, and there's a few other appearances that I could do. And I could visit my little brother who lives out there. So I'm looking forward to getting out there, but it's not going to happen in July. Lil Missy Blee 1981 sent a $10 super chat telling us to keep fighting the hood fight. The hood fight. I'm going to assume that Lil Missy Blee meant the good fight. Akine sent a 50 Danish kroner super chat saying, in my country, Denmark, I'm a right-wing voter, but those views would make me a Democrat in the United States. Thoughts on that? I mean, you're basically right. You're basically right because the U.S., if you look at elected officials, and we've talked about this, I talked about this today because Joe Scarborough from Morning Joe has left the Republican Party or is leaving the Republican Party to become an independent. And the views of Joe Scarborough are very similar to the views of someone like one of the more right-wing Democrats, Joe Manchin. And increasingly, people like Joe Scarborough and John McCain and Lindsey Graham are closer to being center-right Democrats, which is a pretty standard thing, than these ideological extremist right-wing Republicans. And along those same lines, I am considered by American standards very left. When I visit my family in Argentina, I am basically the equivalent of Joe Manchin there, where it is, I'm sort of like, yeah, I'm kind of left, but there's way more to the left there than there is here. So that's I think you're absolutely right there. No Good has sent a $2 Canadian super chat saying, Rubin could maybe hook you up with Rogan. He did with Sargon. Yeah, I mean, I know that I know that happened, but a lot of people are asking Dave Rubin to hook them up with the Joe Rogan show. And I prefer to try to sort of chart my own path if possible. Okay, let's talk about the Trump-Russia stuff. The Trump-Russia stuff at this point, I did a piece yesterday called The Left is Devouring Itself Over Trump-Russia. And it was about this infighting that's developed, to put it incredibly lightly, this infighting that's developed among the left over the issue of Trump-Russia. And there are those who criticize me and say, David, Trump-Russia is nothing. There's nothing to talk about there. And there are others who say, David, how can anyone on the left deny that Trump-Russia is a major deal? And as I pointed out yesterday, there are people on the left who don't want to accept what has now been undeniably confirmed by Donald Trump Jr.'s emails, which was there was Trump-Russia collusion. The question now is to what extent, and was it illegal, and was the attempt to cover it up illegal? But there's no doubt anymore about Trump-Russia collusion. Some on the left feel that if they give credence to the hypotheses about Trump-Russia collusion, that it somehow undermines Bernie Sanders, for example, or that it implies that Hillary Clinton was a better candidate than she was. And there's a few other iterations of this. And I talked about it yesterday, and it's all bullshit. I mean, I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter from the primary. When he was eliminated from the primary, I made it very clear that he was screwed by the DNC. I made it clear all along that the DNC was helping Hillary Clinton. I ultimately voted for Hillary Clinton because she would have not been nearly as atrocious as Donald Trump is. I mean, it's just to even suggest that it would have been the same at this point is either dishonest or ignorant, depending on which camp you fall into. But Hillary Clinton, my view of Hillary Clinton as a weak Democratic candidate is not changed if I accept that Donald Trump's campaign colluded with Russia. That doesn't change at all. If I assert that Bernie Sanders had a great chance to defeat Donald Trump in the general election, accepting what is the undeniable reality about Trump-Russia collusion doesn't undermine the hypothesis that Bernie could have been a better candidate than Hillary Clinton in the national election. And I think that this is a totally false dichotomy that we are saying, that we are seeing this infighting and this black-white view from some on the left. And fortunately, a lot of our audience is not doing that. A lot of our audience is writing to me saying, David, you know, XYZ person on the left is unhinged about this issue. You're right. You can walk and chew gum at the same time. You've been talking about issues as well as what's going on with Trump Russia, and that's it, right? I think that any time that progressives start getting into this, you're only really progressive if you believe X type stuff. I think it's a real problem, and we should be staying away from it, particularly when now there is no denying whatsoever that there was collusion between Donald Trump and Russia. I'm noticing a lot of people talking about the fact that I am wearing glasses today as opposed to my contact lenses. It's a little bit of a later stream, and I actually had a contact lens fall out when I went swimming today. So I figured I'd put my glasses on. These are Warby Parker glasses. Warby Parker is a sponsor of the show. warbyparkertrial.com/TDPS. I got these the same way you can get them, which is I went on the website. I picked 5 pairs. They send me the 5 pairs for free without a prescription in them. You try them on. You pick the one or ones you like. You send it back, and then the ones you like, they'll put your prescription in. This particular set is called the Lyle, if anybody's wondering, but a lot of questions about my glasses. Yes, I wear glasses. My prescription is, I think, minus 2.75 with astigmatism, by the way. And yes, you can check them out, warbyparkertrial.com/TDPS. All Warby Parker glasses are gender neutral, or call them androgynous, or call them unisex. I actually don't know that for sure, but for the most part, I think that they are. I've not seen anything at the stores when I've gone in for adjustments that say, men's or women's or whatever the case may be. Okay, let's see. Let me do a thank you. So at the beginning of the live stream, I explained to you that the YouTube advertiser boycott crisis adpocalypse situation has been getting progressively worse over the month of July. And I've told you that one of the things we are doing is talking up membership. You can get a commercial-free all-access pass to the show as well as the members-only bonus show when you sign up at davidpakman.com/membership. There's a coupon code available. That coupon code is IVoted17, and I need to send some thank yous because thanks to many of you, the urgency with which we need to increase membership has been heard. Rafael Gonzalez has signed up for membership using the coupon code during the live stream. Milton Merritt has signed up. Milton, thank you. You are a tremendous person. Kristen McDonald has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership while we've been chatting here. Charles Sen has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership, as has Kenny Turner. Kenny Turner, thank you. Thank you so much for signing up. No new patrons yet. We have Patreon. Patreon started slow. It took us a while to get our first 100 patrons, but we've since achieved over 1,700 patrons. Many of you contributing as little as $1 per month. And I would encourage you, if you don't want to deal with the membership stuff, if you already are too busy to even watch all the content we're producing and you don't care about bonus content, head over to patreon.com/davidpakmanshow. And if you can only do $1, do the $1, because if everybody did that, the problem would be over. I actually had, this is kind of a funny thing. Earlier this week, we had a letter on the program from a viewer named Chris. And Chris wrote in, and it was pretty aggressive. It was sort of like an attack on a lot of our audience, and I'm going to put that letter up for you here. Chris wrote in, and he said, David, I hope you'll read this on your show. This is coming from someone who is a member and a monthly Patreon contributor. I see that the David Pakman Show currently has 377,835 YouTube subscribers, And I'm amazed that the show still has less than 2,000 Patreon contributors. And of course, as I corrected on the program, that is fewer than, not to bug Chris, but I know if I don't correct that, my audience will tell me I don't know how to speak English. Chris went on to say, we as David Pakman Show subscribers should collectively be ashamed. I'm pretty sure if even half of the David Pakman Show YouTube subscribers pledged a mere $1 per month, the David Pakman Show would be flush with funds and in no need of YouTube ad revenue whatsoever. Come on, people. Help maintain the flow of real and accurate news. You know, the thing is, we don't need even half of our YouTube subscribers to donate anything. If 5% of our YouTube subscribers donated $1 per month, who gives a shit about the YouTube ad boycott? It's over. It does not affect us anymore. We've now got 378,000 subscribers. 5% of those is 18,900 subscribers. Only $1 a month from 1 out of 20 subscribers ends this entire thing. So by all means, please help out with those Patreon contributions, and I will do thank yous as we go on here through the evening. Let me jump back into the super chat, okay? Let's see. Double X Shamaica sent a $5 super chat saying, "You're fake news because you disagree with me. Just kidding, and I hope you're, Y-O-U-R, on the Drunken Peasants again." Glad to go on. I've made it clear I'm glad to go on. They haven't asked me, and I don't know if they're interested in having me back on. But I would be glad to go back on. Dum sent a $5 super chat just to try to get me to say retarded. And that's a very, very childish super chat, so I'm going to skip it. Gamefire74 sent a $2.29 super chat saying, "Digging the badass glasses, David. Brand, like I said, these are the Lyle frames from Warby Parker. If you want to try them for free, you can try them at warbyparkertrial.com/TDPS. Okay. BJ Hill has sent a $5 super chat. No question or comment. Thanks very much. Cezi Canales sent a $20 super chat clarifying she meant peace be with you rather than peach be with you. Peaches were fine. I had no problem at all with peach be with you. D Knight sent a $2 super chat. Democratic Platform 2018 Republican cover-up. I don't know that I agree with you, D Knight. And in fact, I've been pretty clear that Democrats need a platform that is, number one, united, and number two, not dependent on what's going on with Donald Trump, Russia, and possible Republican cover-ups. And no matter what happens with Trump, Russia, Democrats need a platform that is not just we aren't Republicans, Republicans are liars, bad, colluders, whatever the case may be. And the reason why is simple. If Trump-Russia disintegrates into nothing, and now we obviously have confirmed Trump-Russia collusion, although we've not confirmed its criminality, we've not confirmed the extent of it, but we have confirmed Trump-Russia collusion now. Undeniably, Donald Trump Jr. put out emails minutes before the New York Times was going to put them out, confirming that the collusion took place. If it evaporates and no charges come of it, Robert Mueller, the special prosecutor, comes out and says, hey, you know what? We've investigated and we found no criminal wrongdoing, for example. If that happens, you're going to need something other than talking about Trump-Russia to win in 2018 and or in 2020. But think about the other side of the coin for a second. Let's say undeniable criminality is discovered. It's crazy what happened with Trump-Russia, the cover-up, obstruction of justice, whatever. Even if you don't think this is likely, imagine for a second that it happens. And Trump ends up resigning or getting impeached. What do you run on? If the guy's gone, how do you run on Republican cover-up and Trump-Russia collusion? You need a coherent platform no matter what. I believe healthcare should be at the top of that list. I believe that a more an approach to the environment, and by that I'm talking about pollution, fossil fuels, climate change, etc., an approach to the environment that is not trying to bash Republicans over the head with science, because you and I, unless you're a patriot, you and I know the science already, and the science is not going to convince anybody. And in fact, we've learned from behavioral economics that bashing people over the head with the facts often makes them more resistant to changing their view. We need a sort of national security, patriotic type argument around the environment. And there needs to be some kind of coherent, broader national security message, and that includes, in my mind, ISIS and immigration, okay? And if Democrats can't come together, if it's just going to be arguments about, whether we need safe spaces or identity politics or whether Trump Russia is really something that should be focused on, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. So D Knight, those are my thoughts there. Radina Redmond sent a $5 super chat. Hi, David. Second super chat. If you ever need a bodyguard, my cousin said he will be obliged. Keep going. Blackshin Facebook group has got your back. Okay, I've never heard of that Facebook group. I'm mentioning it because it's in the super chat. I want to make sure that you know that I am not endorsing or standing by anything there. However, I appreciate, Radina, anybody who has my back. That, I think, is much appreciated and a very, very good thing. So what's going to happen tomorrow on the show? Tomorrow on the program, we are going to be talking about the paralysis and finger pointing that's happening at the White House as a result of the never-ending Trump-Russia scandal. And it's so funny. For those who believe there is no scandal, so far, no allegations made about Trump-Russia collusion have been disproven. None. Many have been proven. Many are as yet unproven. Nothing has been disproven. Yeah, okay, the P tapes from the blackmail dossier may be unlikely, not disproven, hard to prove a negative. We may never actually get proof of those. But the story is only growing, and the White House is paralyzed. Donald Trump has reportedly, according to aides, been spending most of his time not leaving the Oval Office, tweeting very little, no on-camera appearances, very few on-camera appearances recently, and now he's off to Paris, and the finger-pointing is starting. People are talking about maybe Reince Priebus needs to go. Donald Trump's attorney, Mark Kazowitz, is reportedly not pleased that Jared Kushner is speaking directly to Trump about Russia-related stuff and not keeping the legal team involved. It's all pointing fingers. It's all paralysis. And in the meantime, and this is why this current baseline of scandal continues at being a good thing, who's talking about tax reform? The Trump administration is busy dealing with scandals that could lead to anything from criminal charges to resignations for a whole bunch of people in the Trump administration. They're not doing tax reform. Healthcare is close to dead. Mitch McConnell now is talking about skipping half of their August vacation to try to get healthcare done, but the plan is an absolute and total disaster. The Mexican wall that Mexico is going to pay for, it's a fantasy world at this point because of the paralysis that's coming from this. So to that extent, it's almost better for Democrats for Trump to remain riddled in scandal until the 2018 election, for Democrats, and ideally progressive Democrats, not corporate right-wing Democrats, to make gains in the House and ideally the Senate. That might actually end up being the best thing, rather than a very quick impeachment for Donald Trump, speaking completely hypothetically, of course. All right, there's a lot of other stuff to discuss on tomorrow's program, and I'll tell you about some of the other stories we'll be dealing with. We will have a discussion about whether the Russian lawyer that now we know admittedly colluded with Donald Trump Jr., or I guess the way to say it would be Donald Trump Jr. Attempted to collude with her. There are allegations that she was in the country illegally. And how ironic would that be, given Donald Trump's focus on undocumented immigrants coming from mostly Latin American countries, and then, of course, the travel ban for people coming in from Middle Eastern countries. It's possible that the lawyer, we're still looking at the data, it's possible that the lawyer was here in the country illegally. We will talk about more swamp filling. A Goldman Sachs banker appears to be the top choice for Donald Trump to run the Federal Reserve. Not exactly draining the swamp, actually quite the opposite, I would say. And many, many more stories, including drug-resistant gonorrhea. drug-resistant gonorrhea. It's apparently a real issue that we're going to have to deal with. Let me do a couple more thank yous here because we do have people that have been signing up fast and furious while I've been talking at davidpakman.com/membership. Let me say thank you to Deborah Lilligren Espinoza, who signed up at davidpakman.com/membership using the 40% coupon code I voted 17. Thanks to Doreen Fenton, who has signed up while we've been chatting here. Big thank you to Anthony Russell and Sean Whitney, both of whom have signed up using the coupon code, getting 100% of the benefits at only 60% of the price. We are talking about this more than before because of the YouTube adpocalypse situation that has completely and utterly exploded in our faces as of July 1st. And this is something that it's an issue that we are apparently going to be dealing with as the new normal at this point. Let's jump back into the super chat. The super chat from Travis the Human at the $5 level says the Democratic platform should emphasize restorative justice. Okay, that's an interesting idea. Mean Green Bean 88 has sent a $5 super chat saying Russia used bribery. It's super effective. Okay, that is an interesting perspective, and I thank you for it, and thank you for the super chat support. And on that note, we are going to wrap up this evening's live stream. I've got to get to research for tomorrow's program. Every day is busy at the David Pakman Show. Thanks to everybody who joined me. Sign up, get those Patreon contributions in. Help us get to 2,000 patrons. Doesn't matter how much you can contribute. Even $1 a month helps. Patreon.com/David Pakman Show.